open the ZBA meeting for October 16th, 2024. Got a pretty busy night. We're going to start right off with the, before I mention anything about there's a chair over here, sir, and we want
To the end of the corner right there.
okay.
That jacket's been there for months, so that seat's not taken.
I do want to make a note of a longtime member of this board. Ted Briggs passed away recently. And he served the community in a number of different ways for a very long time. I just would like to. He was really someone who had done a tremendous amount for the community over time. I said we probably agreed 98% of the time, and 2% that we didn't. We had a fun time with that too. But overall, he was a really good man. So, special permit for 168 North Street. This is for the accessory apartment. Here's 168 North. You are. This should be the fastest, easiest one of the night because by state law, when's that law get enacted, Eric? January?
January.
In January, you wouldn't even need to be here. It's by right, so it's kind of a waste. I don't say it's a waste of your time. I'm sorry, but
Good to be here.
you want to just very briefly tell the board what you're doing?
It's just a small extension from in-law.
And it's well under the 900 square feet that's allowed.
Just wanted to confirm the drawing we have shows 26 by 20 and shows 2 floors, which would actually, just based on that, would add up to 1,000. Or what is the actual?
It's gonna be less than.
Yeah.
By the time you remove the staircase. Yeah, that staircase. There is one odd that's in our zoning regs that there's the need for a statement to be signed that it's gonna be an in-law apartment. What's that?
If this is going to be 900 though, once that law goes into effect, isn't that we can't do that
Yeah.
before that, right?
Right.
Yeah, the whole thing, yeah,
So it's
a month from now or 2 months from now.
yeah, it's
So,
Essentially.
yeah.
We were operating, Mike Ethanellis, Director of Land Use Inspection Services, aka Town Planner. This public hearing for 168 North Street, application for accessory apartments. That's Nicholas Basamula is the applicant / owner. So that's correct. Accessory dwelling units is what was proposed, or excuse me, adopted into state law back in August with the Affordable Homes Act. That allows for accessory dwelling units up to 900 square feet or 50% of the living area of a home to be allowed by right in all communities in Massachusetts. That, as we were just discussing, doesn't go into effect until February of 2025. So that's why there's an application before you tonight, because we're still technically operating under our existing bylaw, which is for accessory apartments. So that's about all I have.
any questions from the board?
Can I just interrupt real quick? Can everybody please sign in on the sign-in sheet down there, just so we know who's
Yeah, like
present?
one hand.
If you guys haven't signed in, do you mind just signing in?
Sure.
Thank you.
We're gonna steal a couple.
Okay.
Cheers.
Right at the end of the table. We can pass it down.
He's a couple chairs. He's bringing one around. I'll bring one more around.
Yeah, in a minute, yeah.
You have a chance to sign it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah.
It's big, yeah.
You want that one on the other side? Yeah.
Oh, no worries. In a bigger room.
Like a fire chief, see him.
Right. Thank you.
So my apologies, gentlemen, if you have any questions, concerns?
One of my questions was just about this, I wasn't sure how far side this is from the, side. Yard line,
I think it does meet.
the 30.
Yeah, the language, yeah.
Okay.
Eric, to the chair, what I looked at is that it's basically, it's outlined in the, there is a provided plot plan. It's not an as-built plot plan, but it's the proposed. Going off of the proposed, it looks like it's gonna be shy by about 1.5 feet from the side lot line. So I had suggested in my suggested conditions, and this would likely be a requirement on building permit anyway, to provide this plot plan or another plot plan upon the application, but then also to provide an as-built upon a certificate of occupancy to certify that obviously it's not going over it. Because then you would need to come back for a different reason.
Yeah. Bob. You're good. Bob. Nice to see everybody. All right, gentlemen, Bob.
Public.
Oh, public comment on this. Questions, concerns? Thank you for reminding me. Always most important. None, any more others? That's usually a good sign.
Receive any emails or communication?
I have not, no.
I mean, things don't be legal no matter what, 2 months, 3 months, so. Bob, you want to give me a motion?
Sure. To move to approve the application for a special permit to allow an accessory apartment as presented pursuant to section 300-7.6 of the Acton zoning bylaw with conditions that we have a survey plan be obtained, to land use and then as built be my certificate of occupancy.
It was pretty standard. Okay, second. Okay, all those in favor, vote aye. Bob?
All right.
Someone?
Michael Gove, aye.
Bill, aye. Bill Lynch, aye. Makes it unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, so give those to this lady. And there is a 20-day appeal period if your neighbors technically could appeal this decision, which would be foolish for them to spend the money doing that. So it's just by the right for 2 months. After she gets this typed up and I sign it, it gets submitted to the clerk, that's when the 20 days starts. And she'll probably give you a call or some sort of notice to let you know.
For sure.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, good night.
Thanks.
Okay, the next applicant is. Gonna pass it from. Rena Farah. 33 Milford Street, discussing a special permit.
All right, I'm Rod Rivera, I'm the designer and also the contractor for this project.
Questions for you, but okay, go for it. Why don't you tell the board what you're planning on doing? Most of us were aware of that house, and you guys are aware of which house we're referring to. It's kind of a half fallen already. Okay, sir.
So, when we took it over, in terms of, becoming the person involved in the design, we tried to save some of the structure of the property, so going back and forth with the inspectors numerous times. We did a site visit and the owner that had it before, Rena, she actually tried to do some renovation, which was poorly done.
And much worse.
Yeah, it got very bad, but the person did not have a lot of common sense in the construction field, so he tried to put it together the best as he can. We tried to come up with ideas to try to save the building, but it wasn't worth it. So by the time we invest the money into trying to remedy the problem, it was easier after talking to the inspector, it's easier to bring it down to the foundation, level the foundation. The foundation itself is in good condition, but we'll level it and then we just put new sills and then start framing from that point on. the house itself would not meet code anyway. A lot of the structure there does not meet today's standards. So we will bring all that stuff up to code, and it'll be a new energy compliant building. And all the windows will be brand new, everything will be brass spanking new.
Now, you're trying to stay to the old, stone wall, I'm assuming it's stone wall foundation.
So the front, if you're looking at the building, the front right
Mhm.
and the front is still stone. And it seems like somebody have done some repairs in the past, so the part of the left side and rear is made out of cinder blocks, which are in very good condition. The stone foundation, when we were looking at it, numerous times, it just needs margins, fill in some of the gaps, and then we're gonna skim coat it and seal it from inside. So, and that's not gonna be a habitable space, so we're just gonna maintain it nice and keep it clean.
But you guys won't let me, talk all the time, you guys can chime in. I am, having talked to some of the previous building inspectors, I know there's a lot of concerns structurally on the existing building. Glad to hear it's coming down because it's a basket case. I'm a little concerned putting a 3-story structure on that sort of foundation. What I didn't know is, since you're gonna be building new anyways, and that foundation's not the world's greatest foundation, is there any way that we could, I know some of the neighbors have concerns about the height of the structure, give you a little regulatory relief, on setbacks so that you could maybe drop the height and spread out the width a little bit? That building's very close to the road. You're not losing, that foundation's not great. Not the greatest foundation to start off.
But it's not bad. I mean, if it was bad like the rest of the building, then I would just tear the whole entire thing and start from scratch.
Yeah.
Because of financial hardship for Raina, I kind of hate to give her that bad news.
Hmm.
And I'm hoping you guys have some type of leniency towards her, at least to save the foundation. And
Yeah, we can't force you to take it on. We don't have that power, but, sometimes it might be from someone who's worked on a lot of old houses, sometimes you are better off. As you are with the rest of the structure.
I've been doing it 32 years, and I'm also like I had a big crew back a long time ago, so I know that it is faster and easier. That's why I decided to tear down the building. After talking to inspectors a couple of times, it was easier, and they agreed with me, and this is why we came up with this design.
Do you have a structural engineer consulting on this?
Yes.
The drawings like stand.
Well, these probably were not because they were changed several times, but I do have a structural engineer that works with us.
So she got a stamp.
He's
on
gonna
the
stamp,
drawings?
yes.
Because I noticed on your page A17, the foundation looks like it's a floor. Maybe there.
But if you see A7, it has, part of different and then the other part of different also. So if you're looking at the bottom,
I'm just looking at the section.
right, so that's just, a cross elevation, but if you look at A7, it'll have a section that's, it's just, actually stone foundation, then the back row is also, cinder blocks, and it's also labeled there.
Is the purpose of the 3rd floor bedroom space? Or what's the purpose of
If you
it?
wanted to do, like a master up there. I have copies of bigger plans if you guys want to. I mean, I didn't put them together, but have experts there.
A minute hearing over the neighbors, because I'd like to hear from them what their thoughts are. I mean, definitely it's an eyesore, it's gonna fall down, someone's gonna get hurt.
Correct.
So I want to, I don't speak for the board, but you guys have it on notice. You know, I would like to see something done with that property. Well, I'm gonna open up to you guys, what do you? What you do? The various Bobs and Eric's on the line, what do you guys think?
I know the height is a concern for the neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't
I
have
think it's a concern.
any questions, I'm just curious to hear from the neighbors.
I'm just confused. The third floor is labeled, existing.
No, you gotta go further down, yes, so it would be, eight tenants.
The third floor is a finished third floor.
It would,
There's one,
I'll say it.
there's.
I do understand it's a small house and a small lot. I understand, I'm just trying to make it so it doesn't stick out so much. So. That should. Notifications. All right, if you guys don't have any questions, I'd like to get comments from the neighbors. It's always important. I think you're one of the neighbors or your butters. You want to tell us who reflected your name?
Sure.
Address, so she can make it. And what concern do you have?
Sure, Scott Navy Henders, we're at 8 Brook Street, we're directly to sort of the rear in the delta side of the building, if you will. So my first question is, what's the height difference between what's there now and what you're proposing?
Um,
Kind of the current structure versus what you're proposing?
right, I believe that the structure that's gonna, well, I know that the structure is gonna be there now is, let me get to that page. It's gonna be 30 feet.
30 feet.
I think was there now it's about, I think it was like 21. Give or take.
So my concern, or our biggest concern, like, we understand the building has to come down, we understand that it's not going to be, not necessarily the same type of structure as the rest of the neighborhood, and it's your property, and that's fine. The problem is, right now, our grade is probably between 8 and 12 feet lower than where you are now, right? So we're in, you've been to the house, I assume.
Yes.
So we're in the White House down below, and it's probably, I would say, as much as 12 feet of grade difference. So, and you're due east of us. So once you have, even now, that house is high, that house is much higher than us, it's existing, it's the way it is. But a 30-foot house is going to loom over my house, it is going to completely blight out the sun. Like I say, it's due east of us, and it just does not fit there. Putting that house at the existing height will still be high, you know, but 30 feet plus the existing grade, that the differential we have now, that house will be like a 4 or 5 story home next to ours. And it doesn't work at all.
I'm concerned with the decking up on the higher level, and is that decking now looking over into our yard? I'm just not sure what's in the house there, or why there needs to be decks on it.
When we went into the property, that's what was there, so we wanted to keep the same cost.
So that was after the fact.
Yeah, so
It
it
was
was
the
the second.
second. Yes, that was one of the other ones. Initially, the initial home.
Right.
Right.
The original only never had.
Sure, of course. But the height difference between what you're proposing and where we have stood for years It's huge. I mean, it's, again, it's equivalent to putting a 4 or close to 5-story difference between that home.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's that high, but
Just as a side note, I mean, the land is a huge chunk of that. So, in most of the zoning districts, the max height is 30 lineal feet.
Yeah.
But it'll be 30 lineal feet from the top of that knoll. And you're at what you're looking at, what height?
30,
30.
30, yeah, 30 feet.
So,
Because we have to bring the roof down, from the original, but
right, so my point to that is, a lot of that's topographical. The zoning reg, I'm looking at the dimensional table here. For SRA, SRB, these are the district, SRC, D, they're all, and AR are all 30 feet, 30 feet. So if it doesn't violate the 30-foot limit, obviously you heard me trying to think maybe if you could, broaden it out and bring it down.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to review that 30 feet. Mike, am I correct on this?
So it's 30, that's a split hairs, 30.1 linear feet is the proposed height. You are correct that in residential zones, this is not, I mean, this is a mixed use zone, it's the UCBD
It's the
districts,
mixed-
but our residential zones are allow for 2.5 stories, but it's 35, I mean,
30
30 linear feet. And it's 2.5, yeah, correct. So it's 2.5, but 30 linear feet is what is allowed in our residential districts. And that is measured from grade to
Right.
top to peak, basically, and take an average of both sides. If it were on a hill or something like that, where you have to walk out, you typically go to the center of the structure. This is not, I mean, it's on a hill, but there's not like substantial drop off.
No, it is a surprising little bump up there, though. When you drive by, you're really soft to notice.
Yeah, I mean, that
What I'm
looks,
wondering is,
Oh, yeah, that's
because I want to listen to, some passion and concerns in the neighborhood, but I also understand what this building is. Is there any way that, well, the French did it outside, is there any way that you can take the plans and you've already got a dormer in the front that's on that 3rd floor? Is there any way that you can keep to that 30 and just, you can still have your space up there, but make your roof in such a way it brings the massive structure down? You understand what I'm saying? Is that a possibility?
I could bring the baseline lower
Mhm.
and keeping the pitch so to be comfortable for the person to walk.
Yeah, I mean, you can use a 3-tab at what, 4 12 pitch, use over 5 pitch.
Yeah.
Um,
The reason why I left it that high is because of my stairs. I won't have the enough headroom from the landing if I go lower.
Yeah.
I won't have enough room from my, from the landing or the stairs to bring any furniture, because you need it to be 6 foot. Well, it says 6'6" finish, but it would be 6'8". So I wanted to keep it high enough so it gives you that feel of height.
Right. And I didn't bring my rule with me, but if you look at your distance here, this distance from, say, the top of the balustrade up to your ceiling is still greater than the distance here. So
This is your follow time. So this would be.
right, but it's not right. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure you can grab a foot out of there. I mean, you're only 0.1 of a foot. Actually, that's only an inch.
Yeah.
An inch and something. So you,
You have a copy of the ordinance,
here, I don't mind.
Which page you looking for?
Yeah.
All of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's never
Yeah,
mentioned.
yeah, do.
Thank you for getting. These are great.
So the page that he was looking for states, A15 of this level.
I know when the barns I built, it was only because the stock. I needed like 8 foot for one segment of the gable roof, and I was like, I'm not gonna spend the extra money to buy that extra inch. I just 8 footers, change the angle slightly. And, dropping it 1 inch made a difference, but it made me save me even buying 10 footers all around. And at that time, I was so broke, 10 footers versus
Well, this is the reason why she's getting a little desperate, because she's been paying on an empty building, not able to do anything.
What zoning variance or what have you are we here for? If it's not height, what else are we gonna need to, that's not,
Number of floors.
It's a special permit to, for the height. It's not a variance for the height, which would be typical when we're talking about dimensional regulations. In the Upton Center Business District, there's a provision that expressly allows this board to grant a special permit to allow the increase in height. Which is up to, what did we say, 35 feet? Or was it 30? 30 feet, and 3 stories, I believe. So that's what the special permit is for. There's also a special permit, for the expansion, alteration, and change of a pre-existing non-conforming building. And my understanding in my review of the application is, and review of the property, is that I'm highly suspicious that that existing home projects into the side yard setback. It's the way that the house is positioned. It's all the way across, like almost on the lot line in one of the. So
is that the left or the right side?
the right.
The right.
So I think the property line would be very close to basically where the driveway comes in right
So
there.
can we have that surveyed prior to this happening, because that is our lot.
I think that's a suggested condition for approval.
Just,
So
similar to what we just did with the previous.
Okay.
But if this predates zoning, though. they
Oh,
don't
it's
need
way
relief for
predates.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't need a relief for the
If-
sign.
yeah, depending on what they're doing, like
Would
we're
it need or
if-
would not?
Would not, if you're staying within the existing footprint.
Correct.
Yeah, this
You
thing,
don't need relief.
anyone who's been in that building knows it predates something.
Yeah.
Everything there is street.
that's true. You might, this board might not have to act on that depending on what the actual plans end up being. If we're just going up in height, and not going further into that setback or expanding in the front or the rear to create more buildable building
Yeah.
space within that setback, then you don't have to act on that. But it's basically a precaution, given the location of the structure. But given the location of the structure, that's why I suggested a condition of approval to be a survey.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this several homes where people have essentially redone their attic space. A few dormers, you've gotten some decent living space out of it.
So
So
through the chair, the main item is the special permit for the height. The difference between the special permit and the variance being the statutory requirements that applicants have to address through variances.
higher.
A variance would have to require an applicant to demonstrate a hardship. Meaning, and what is a typical example is that you want to put a addition on or a proposed garage, something that's expanding the footprint horizontally, not vertically. And in the conforming location of the lot, there is ledge or wetlands or something like that. And so say, oh, well, I need to put my garage on the other side of the property, but that's going to project into the setbacks. My hardship is that the land has specific conditions that are preventing me from locating it in a conforming location. The special permit is basically, it's a discretionary approval through this board. You don't have to meet that threshold for proving that statutory hardship. It's basically, does it create an adverse impact in any way, shape, or form? But to put it briefly.
No, I don't know.
The only relief they're asking for is the height.
Yes.
Basically from 30 to 30.1.
From
With its just floors, 25 to 30.
Yeah.
We have the discretion to give them 30, right? That's,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 5 feet. My own thing is I do want to see, I was hoping to maybe move, if you're gonna redo the foundation, get it a little further back, a little further over to the side, because you're so close to the side there, but, when I see a building in town that really needs to be redone, I'll give myself my little.
I'm sorry, correction.
Yep.
In the dimensional regulations table, note 9 says for lots in the UCBD district, the following dimensional flexibility may be allowed by special permit. And B, under that subsection B is the maximum building height may be increased to the following limits. Number of stories, 3.5 and linear feet, 50.
Wow. And this is in that new district.
And that's because this is technically within the Upton Center Business District. It's not necessary, it's not only a residential district anymore.
So that's not, in the table.
No, that must be an old table that you have.
This must be an old table I've got here.
50.
Good story.
Um,
I'm sorry, how tall is the, how high is the top of the roof right now? How much of an increase is the proposal for what exists right now?
I believe it's 5 feet.
Like I said, it was 21 feet currently, 9 feet.
Well, I mean, again, it's in the Center Business District, so the intent was not
Yeah.
likely for single family homes.
yeah,
I can't speak confidently in that because I wasn't here when that zoning district was adopted, but I have to imagine how it was envisioned for mixed use structures where you have commercial on bottom, residential on top.
well, gentlemen, I think. Things. Yes, sir.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is no commercial in that area. It's all residential. The town extends the zoning beyond where it should have been. I don't know what they were trying to do, but this is a residential area with 2.5-story houses. And this may be the first one you do, but if you start down through there, once you start a precedence like this, it's hard to not have it again. So
Remember, if it's zoned, I mean, that's what that zoning district was for, is we actually want, even as far as gas go, where that open that field with all the pine trees in there, you know, they're trying to get development. We're trying, that's one of the reasons why we push so hard to get the sewer up that street. When was the last time we did a sewer expansion in this town?
Just a point on that, I think on Grove Street, which is wholly residential, I believe our side is commercial residential as well.
The side that backs up to the home, not the neighbors across the street.
That's really,
So we're
it's
paying,
really, that's really allowed to consider putting in commercial structure.
What kind of height would you accept if we had the option to make that the flexible option? No higher than it is now?
I mean, I think, no, I mean, I want to be reasonable, but, I'm certainly not gonna, argue over a small amount, but a 25, another 25 feet, I think is a pretty reasonable size structure. And once you get to a certain
small
height,
lot. too.
plus the height of the grade, which I know isn't your fault, but it looms over the houses that are existing.
And with the leaves gone, if you're just looking into my home, my daughter's rooms.
Yeah, a lot of that's topographic. Guys, we're at one level, he's a very different level. It's almost, I would say, a story. You would say that's about a story.
It's pretty close to it, yeah.
So I mean, that's. It's not the fault of this building, this building's old. This building's really old.
Oh, I'm not asking to save this building, not by any stretch, or to build an exact replica. Just something that's, a little more in keeping, I guess.
So the reason why we increased the height is because when you go into the house now, I mean, I'm a short person, I could touch the ceilings.
I've been in, we've been in that house that's there now. That house is there, there's no.
I wouldn't do it right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not arguing that fact.
you're gonna go with 8 or 10s. For sale. You're gonna do 8 for sale.
Yeah,
I mean, 8s,
I believe it's less, sorry, I believe it's less,
8 on the first floor, 7.5 on the second.
yeah, it's just 8 on the first.
On the third floor.
Yeah, we'll reduce the heights on the upper floors.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about any time you redo an attic, especially if you use a truss, you get some of that roof to be part of your ceiling height. But you can get a truss design. Which having just done one is they can grab a lot of space out of that.
We're trying to do in numbers, we're trying to figure out what the modular home, some analog walls and stuff like that. That costs us too much right now. So it's easier for us to put a crew together, to frame in a couple of, yes.
Yeah, it looks like the third floor is gonna end up finishing at like 8 feet.
No,
I could extend your elevation lines, but
right, but it's less because we have the color time that's, turned into the
flat
ceiling.
ceiling is.
Right.
The flat ceiling is good.
It's less though. And the reason why I give that is we had the place Harris rated, so they gave us the idea to lower that part. Because originally we wanted a cathedral up there. He asked to lower that part, so this way it'll meet the energy code.
Which is a tough code to beat.
You know what the height is at the plate where the ceiling comes down? Because if I can't see it,
The walls would be. So it's yeah, so this right here is showing you 8, 9, but if you look at the lines in the bottom of the floor joist,
what page you?
815.
850. Eight, 9 would.
Yes,
There's no elevation to with plate and stuff. Yeah, that dimension.
all right.
You know what it is, roughly?
And these are tablet size, so in order for us to scale them, a 2x3 sheet.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to, but I believe,
Well, let's.
I drew it, but I can't keep up with everything. I do so many projects.
You can drop the ceiling in
Yeah, we did.
more on the third floor and reduce the overall height.
Yes, because it was higher.
It's not,
You
it's
can
not
make
up
it.
to us to tell them how to redesign the building, really.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
I look, it's my opinion, you guys have your own opinion, and I want to hear it. I mean, I know we're not looking at a commercial 50-foot tall building. I know that's allowed in that zoning district. And I definitely do have the older zoning thing here. All the tables, basically 30 feet without even any sort of special permit. The number of people that have taken attic space and turned that into a master suite is dozens and dozens. It's a very common practice. For myself and Alana Desk, I'm pretty comfortable with a 30-foot height. How are you guys feeling about the 30-foot height? If they were even a standard modern colonial there, it would still be a very much bigger mass building. And that is something that could happen down there.
This is almost like a colonial, but to me, this design is too big for that neighborhood.
Yeah,
That third floor, the size of the master bedroom is the third floor.
Right, that's why they're packing it under the roof.
So it's like, it's out of character for me. That's my opinion.
I can't think of anything else in the neighborhood of that size. And in character of the neighborhood is one of the special permit criteria.
Well, you have neighbors who aren't happy with it either. We usually try to do some accommodations as well. So we include that in a way that everyone can go away happy. But I
That's
think
never.
we need to consider it. I mean, I definitely think we have to consider that.
I mean, the height probably isn't unreasonable, it's just in the context. That's the problem.
So just as, obviously you were saying an informal poll on that I just heard. I would be very reticent to take a vote on this and turn it down, because if we do, you can't come back for 2 years.
Mhm.
I would be, from the sounds of it, I would say it might be a better idea it would have to come from you to get a continuance and see if you can jigger the plans a little bit, get it down a few more feet. And see.
We can go to 25 by right, correct? And what did we say? Was that currently about 21?
Yeah, you can go to 25 by right.
Neighbors would accept 25. Consider.
Half of 25 over 30.
And
That's
honestly,
not right. He doesn't need to come to this board to get to 25.
I had never used trusses. I've only done 2 buildings with trusses. In all honesty, they're very economic. I don't sell trusses, but they have some truss designs that will get you the ceiling that you want under that roof without the type of collar tie you're doing, even if it's like a scissor truss. I've been nothing but impressed with some of the stuff I've seen. So you don't have to, but I would recommend to you that would it be a continuance, or that we continue, if you still be willing to continue this, just kind of crunch those numbers a little bit more, because these guys are the guys that make the decision.
We're looking to get started before the end of this calendar year, because our next meeting is until November 18th.
But if he hits the 25th, he doesn't need relief.
Right.
So if you can hit the 25, you don't need.
20th.
You don't even need to be here. You need 25 feet.
Stronger. If it's the 25.
You could. I just don't want to have us vote it down, then it's a 2-year waiting list. And
She can't afford to wait anymore.
if you could hit the 25, you don't even have to go for any special permits.
I'll work with her. I'll take that because she can't. I mean, she's spending a lot of money there on an empty building. It's costing her too much, and she's risking to lose the whole thing if she
Right.
keeps it up. So, I mean, even this process took us longer because the miscommunication in a sense was
Yeah,
not great. So, but
it was the first meeting, no one ever showed up for.
I understand. And it was a mistake because I read it that it was canceled. Then I got an email like an hour later saying that it was still on. So
Yeah, it was the historic.
the historic was.
You got a separate email from the historical
Yeah.
chair saying that was canceled, so I tried to immediately follow up to confirm, like, hey, that was historical's
Yeah,
canceled, not
right.
zoning board.
But I didn't see it until I.
No, it's
But-
completely understandable.
But if you can punch through 25, then you don't even need to, you can pull a billing permit tomorrow.
Okay.
So that would eliminate the time concern.
That's gonna.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's probably a better option for her and for us.
But seriously, look at truss design. I know it operates a crane pretty well.
So is that a request from the applicant to withdraw,
Oh, continuance,
or are you
Because he
continuing?
might want to come back.
Okay,
Well,
No, I kind of don't want to wait no more. I don't want to procrastinate with this anymore. I just want to just
Get started.
do what we have to.
If we give you a continuance, you don't have to. You can draw.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
You could send a letter
Yeah.
saying you want, sorry,
Yeah,
yeah.
but if we give you a continuance, you don't have to. You can just let us know.
But I just want to like a clear answer. So if I build the building as 25, they're not going to be upset with us and give us a hard time in terms of.
You can't build it at 25 without any.
No, that's what I'm saying. You
Yes,
understand?
Absolutely, yes.
So no, and this way they're happy, we're gonna be happy. And
Yep, and you don't even need a special permit in any form, yeah.
okay, so that leaves us as what? We just,
You can
Withdraw?
You can withdraw it. Or we can just do continuance. Continuance costs you nothing. You can still pull the permit for 25. It just gives you an option if something weird goes on.
Decide to come to 25 feet and 1 inch, you
You-
can come back and if you can approve.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
best bet is a continuance, it costs you nothing. And you can still pull a permit tomorrow if you go to the 25.
okay, so if I draw the plans today and I go tomorrow to a building permit for 25, but it's 25'1", I have to come back.
Yeah.
Is that
Exactly.
basically?
Exactly, yeah.
And I won't fight you over 25.
Do we want to approve it for 25? Oh, no. Draw your plans, but seriously, take a look at some different trust designs. I'm telling you this stuff out there.
I will not take your advice on that. So back to this. So what do we?
You would, technically you'd be requesting a continuance.
Yeah, request, the applicant agreed. I would suggest you request a continuance of the public hearing, an extension of the public hearing deadline. And that's it.
To go.
Yeah, and that's it. To November 20th, sorry. hold on. 20th, November 20th.
But that would not stop you from, if you can get that design 25, just going right away right now.
Yeah. I mean, you've heard from the board that my sense of it, I don't see this board voting in favor of 30 regardless.
Yeah.
So you probably wouldn't get votes on the 30, so you get a denial on that, most likely. I don't speak for the board. But just to help you gauge and hedge your bets. And so, but like as was discussed, if you literally go back to the drawing board, it's 25 feet and 1 inch, leaving that option open to come back and just say, hey, due to these conditions, I'm still technically over and need a little bit of relief on it.
It's insurance for you, that you can come
I mean, I
back.
think you have a pretty clear answer from the board that you're not gonna get 30, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got.
I mean, I know you want it to be final and probably like in writing,
Right.
denied or,
I guess,
yeah.
so
You,
so if I go tomorrow to the building department and says I want to build the building, it's gonna be 25 feet. I do not have to, even though we have a continuance.
Yep. You don't-
Okay, that's, okay,
And
that's.
she is the lady at the building department. You can tell her, just tell the board to jump in the lake. Okay,
25% board.
so would you like a continuance?
Yes.
There we go. Okay. Do we get a vote on that, right?
Yeah.
Someone make,
Move that we grant a continuance and extend the public hearing deadline to November 20th.
well,
I'll second the motion.
all in favor?
Yes.
Eric Russell,
Oh, who's that?
Michael Galvin.
Bill Andrews, aye. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I have these back.
Yeah. All right.
Do we need his,
Oh,
Rod,
yeah.
these things.
Exactly, yeah. Return receipts for green cards.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay, here's the agenda. Okay. So next on the agenda is a variance for 6 Sumner's Circle. Mark Carlson requesting a variance for a minimum side yard setback. Mark, you're right next to you. Thank you. It's just over here, David. Drive by. Very butterflies.
yeah, right next door, yeah. thanks.
I chuckle at it because hundred butterflies in my. They certainly do. I wasn't here, but they're not here year round.
Yeah. I think it's more bees than cheese. For what it's worth, and like,
Can you ask
I mean,
two people? who are-
not in the middle of it and completely like, I understand your side, I understand your side, I'm just playing home.
Kathy's on it.
Oh, yeah, so they must have been
It's just-
30.
The William has that.
She was-
And it's a rather benign type of character. Yeah, see, my neighbors had the Don bees, and I was supportive of this. All right, well, tell us about what you're doing here, sir, and specifically within that, you talk about the setbacks and how much you want to get.
So basically, we wanted to put up something that can provide some shade where we can just sit and relax. In a pavilion where we could potentially put like a grill and stuff like that. Just a small paper area. The area that it's potentially, or that we'd like to put it in, is up on, is the only, topographically speaking, the only place in the backyard that had footprint. We have septic on the other side of the backyard, as well as pool decking that we just won't be able to. It's a 20-foot, I think it's 16 feet. So the fence, if you're looking, if you've seen it, just 9 inches.
off the property line and then just looking for another 6 off of that, so 15 feet total from the property line, which makes it a 5-foot setback. Yes, yeah. There's a question about the height.
Yes.
I spoke to the builder today. He said he could definitely keep it below 14 feet. 13 feet probably. But we hadn't actually sat down and looked at it. In design. It's more a matter of making sure I had something to discuss it with first.
So you solid roof?
It'll be a solid, yeah. And then
lighting.
so that was another question that was on here, maybe string lighting or some ambient lighting up inside the structure, but not like outer or lights. We already have some, if you look at that lighting, there's already some like landscape lighting, there's lighting, I might even eventually just tie into that.
Any sketch of anything?
I don't, just because I was more concerned about getting like the areas.
It's open.
The area where it is relatively open up there. Their house is another 10 feet off the property. I don't know if they needed a setback variance for their property on the other side on 8 when they built. I'm not 100% positive, but.
I mean, I meant the pavilion itself.
Oh, yeah, all open all the way around. I see it.
Is that SRA over there, Mike?
It's in my memo, hold on.
Sorry. It's SRA. B. Okay, so let's say. My chart is looking for the dimensional regulation chart. The side setback is only 20. I mean, that can be. Which is still not a lot. So you'd be going from 20 down to 16, so 4 feet. 15, yes, 15 feet, so.
Variance of 5.
We have done a number of these in the past, and we have allowed them. And generally, it's the neighbors aren't. Are there any butters here that have?
No, I've got all but, I think 2 back. We're pretty friendly with all of our neighbors.
That's
really concern, so.
Well, we always want to listen to the butters.
Of course, yeah. No,
So,
sure.
That's a real good sign when you're not worried about it.
Yes.
I'm not hugely worried about it myself, in terms of like where the fencing is and it's kind of, I mean, it's walled off anyways.
Yeah. And really, it's gonna help hopefully maybe provide them and us a little more privacy as well. Just as far as like them seeing down in the pool area and us seeing up into their side windows and stuff on the side of the house.
Yeah.
Because I know similar to like they were saying, there's bedrooms on the side of the house.
Fortunately, all those houses are the same. Plain.
Yeah, generally, you'd be surprised what they did to some of the lots, but yeah, it is.
They tried to convince my wife to buy a lot of them when they were doing it. On School Street. Do you have any questions, Bob?
No, straightforward.
Eric?
Seeing that for smaller things like sheds, we gave you 10 feet.
Yeah.
So
It's just an open.
Yeah, no, 15 feet, stays here, no 19, the issue.
So you want us to do it.
Mike, do you want to give you can make a motion? Mike, for you as well.
Okay. I move to approve a variance of 15 feet from the minimum side yard setback for proposed 20 by 16 pavilion as presented. There's no conditions.
The only thing I worry about is lighting at night, if you've got lighting all over the place.
Yeah.
You know,
How about down, can we say down lighting,
yeah,
if you don't mind? All right, so what you said, plus down lighting,
We said no conditions, so we'll go back to it.
but what we're adding one condition, the all lighting must be down lighting. Okay.
That's why.
Michael, the land use side. There you go. Now, 20 days from when it gets signed and submitted to the town clerk, which is next week sometime. So, and she will keep you informed as to.
Okay, and that's when they can apply for a building permit, or they can.
You actually can do it at your own risk ahead of that.
See, I
time.
told them we've.
Yeah, you can do it at your own risk ahead of that time. But,
I have a bunch of, and I have pre-addressed envelopes as well, which is,
it's getting,
um.
we recommend the case of beer all you do is get a 6 months. I've seen that work though.
Yeah.
Root beer, yeah.
Yes.
I'll give Michael that. Michael can find a root beer plant every time I go. He's found root beer every single time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, next, variance for 105 Crockett Road. They're requesting a variance. Change the minimum side yard, front yard setbacks to allow construction of a detached garage. That's you guys, okay, and this is the one that's gonna be on the other side of the street.
It's on the other side of the street, yes. And I have pictures for you if you can pass them.
Yeah.
Um,
Rocket Road is, I don't want to say it's the bane of our existence, but it's zoned AR, which has really big side setbacks and front setbacks and all that, but yet the houses, some of them are just tiny packed right in there.
yeah.
I just wish they would rezone that whole area with any.
Yeah.
That one. Not this,
And you are Douglas?
Yes, thank you.
not this one. Okay, here, I got it. I love the package you got. One of, so as you pull up the information for what you're gonna do, one thing, if you can know that we're gonna ask you about drainage.
Okay,
So know that I'm gonna, if you have any information on that,
I do.
because we've had just recently, one of your neighbors come.
Substance. 95? No, 95?
It's not far enough.
Right. So on the drainage, we have put swale that goes, here's the street here, and I put photography of it down here, being buried, which I'll pass around for you. But we did a 15-inch pipe system here with a swale that actually picks it up and brings it along. And two of my neighbors are here that have witnessed and seen this go on. This has been an extremely difficult septic system. It's taken every bit of 3 months and absorbing an amount of money to do. So up across the street, where the so that's the house. That is the house here. So in front here, which you can see in some pictures of this, I'll pass this around, the 15-inch swale that we made there, and I believe that's going to do a fantastic job in water. And this, if you like, this.
That's right. So the septic system is on lakeside? Opposite?
No,
So it's opposite side of it.
We had to put a field, a pump station all the way down here
Yeah.
and come up through the massive boulders, up a almost 70-degree pitch.
Yeah.
Across the street and bring it all the way up here is about 265 feet. And if you, as you can imagine, Crockett Road as it is, we had to get a crane to lift the bulldozers up over, drop them down to work below the channel all the way through. And every time the shovel hit the ground, it was hitting rocks-sized cars.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just incredible.
It was crazy is they're all rounded usually because all rolls from the glacier.
Yeah,
Well, it's, you think about it, it's like, oh my God, what's the power of that glacier? Yeah, it's tough building.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
So we're just having for the water too.
it directs the, it directs it to just the regular, sure,
That basin, but there's a 12-inch drain pipe.
Yes.
Tied into that basin and all the water will go to.
Okay.
So there's not, so this part of the road is not having flooding issues then?
No.
Good, thank goodness. That was a big issue.
Yeah.
That's the other places, the water was being pushed from one neighbor to the next neighbor to the next neighbor. By the time you get to the third neighbor, they're flooded.
Right.
So that's good that this resolves that problem. So you, on the opposite side of the road is where the garage is going?
yes, opposite side, it's going over here. The field, it's a 4-bedroom septic field up here. And so, as you'll notice in the pictures, we had to push back the massive boulders as far as we could close to it to make a retaining wall and a large opening here for putting the garage. And so.
These are doing those properties when you own both sides of the road.
Yes.
There's even some down there that the lake, where they made the lake divided the property, so they're on the same property as on both sides of the lake. So it's- which is just crazy. It's like, what? That's some candy cane. I'm very glad to see the culvert. That's a huge concern. So is the garage going between these two stone walls, basically?
Backed up right against it, so.
Back up, yes, I can see that. One of the things that helps you in this case is we are allowed to take in topography and ledge and things like that into account.
Right.
And obviously, the situation here has two of those. Glad to see that. That's exactly how it should be done. Good.
I'm glad to have that.
Guys, what's your questions, concerns? You don't want to hear from the neighbors?
Neighbors.
Neighbors?
Yeah, Scott Colwell, I live at 101, so 2 houses down.
Yep.
I've been keeping a close eye on their work. They're doing a great job, because I have no concerns.
Thank you for coming to support us on that. That means a lot to us when your neighbors say that. You
On that
also,
111 Park Road,
how do you feel?
I'm fine with it.
You're fine.
They've done a good job over there.
Nice. Well, that's when you do things like with right, people are happy about it. So thank you. Since the neighbors don't have any concern, it doesn't seem you have a lot of concern. Bob, if you made a motion, why don't you make a motion? Hey, I'm trying to be completely fair about this every single meeting.
Thank you very much.
Mike, do you have any concerns before we go on?
No,
Bob?
Make a motion to grant the variance for proposed detached garage, 9.5 feet on the left, 20 feet on the right, and 22 feet in the front for modified bucket. I second the motion.
Vote.
That's fine.
Oh, these I.
Don't let you drive. And I want to say thank you, David, for coming. That really helps us. So you can see, listen.
we're gonna take these.
I really love seeing you up there and call it.
Thank you so much.
So she'll get that typed up, it'll get signed or stamped and then sent to the clerk and 3 days after.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, we'll be in touch with next steps. Typically, it's like 2 weeks from the meeting that I can actually pull together a decision, get it recorded with the clerk's office. Once the decision's recorded with the clerk's office, that's the 20-day appeal period. That starts 20 days.
From
Which anytime, from the clerk, anytime, an aggrieved party could appeal the decision of this board.
Yeah.
So, so 2 weeks from today and then 20 days from then, you can get a certified copy of that decision from the clerk's office. You then take that to the registers, the registry to have it recorded and that's
I've
finalized.
been Worcester. The registry of deeds, it's super important that you do that.
Yes.
I've been doing that with the whole.
Yeah, that's
So we'll be in touch again.
extraordinarily. Thank you.
Thank you.
for coming out there.
Thank you.
Okay, special permit for 8 Plain Street. Oh, so far.
Wow.
Oh, this is the one we're. I don't have any burden. That's how we're gonna. That's good. That's me. I'll go down. Anyway, sometimes it's almost in, once we're in, life settles in, so about 4 weeks after that. It settles down for you guys, so you can grab you guys over. Yeah, great. A little money. All right. I think I'll make it there.
Have a good night, John.
Now, as a neighbor, do you have any feeling? Okay. Of all of them, ironically, yeah. Yeah, it's funny, since it's such a small town, you had your it's all for how long? You know what, in all honesty, it's probably a good thing, because I thought for getting there, we're gonna hit, so.
It might still happen.
Oh, yeah. I can count them all, who's tried most of these, except that one night when that lady was, that's to shut the meeting down, because I was tired. All right, anyways, is this you, sir?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you're doing, sir?
I'm adding on to the back of the house to increase the size of the existing kitchen. That I think just improving the house. Moving the bedroom out instead of moving the laundry room out to the basement.
Oh, that's always nice.
That's that kind of thing. So. And at the other end is.
And this is the building in the back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not even the one that's in the front.
No.
If I remember, this one is here mainly because it's a non-conforming.
Use for the, I think just non-conforming use, I think, the addition that is proposed is on the structure that is kind of squarely, not squarely in the middle of the property, but in the middle of the property. It's not really close to any setbacks. I think the structure, closer to the frontage, Plain Street, might be.
Oh, sure, it's actually, it's the proper setbacks, it would be before the.
Great, we'll put that on file.
That is everything. That's the one.
Okay.
So we need one type of, follow that.
Oh, nice. So having something to sign up is brilliant.
So
Well, it's not even
pre-existing non-conforming use.
It's not even, it's setbacks. It's not even a problem. If I remember correctly.
Correct.
So that's a good thing. Not bothering anything like that. I know every house down in that neighborhood has addition of property. How many do you think in your house? Okay. I'm gonna go to the board first and then I'm gonna go to your neighbor. So are you familiar with this one? I believe, if I'm not, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, this place has basically two houses.
I was looking at that this morning.
Yeah, and it's just, that's why it's here, because it's an unusual thing anyways. Now weirdly, am I correct in saying that as of February, it wouldn't matter if it has two houses on it, right?
No, not necessarily.
What's
And I'm
that?
sure there's those who disagree with me, but I'm waiting for clarification from the state.
Yeah.
With the Affordable Homes Act, as I mentioned earlier, that makes ADUs, accessory dwelling units, by right across every community in Massachusetts.
Do they
The
have to be attached?
language of that law says on the same lot, but it does not bother to specify attached or detached.
So it's vague.
It's vague.
But anyways, this thing pre-exists by how many? This is not a new structure. This is an old structure.
It was a living space when I bought it
Right.
back in '70.
Pre-existing, non-conforming. So we're just talking, you want to be able to, because of that weirdness, that's why we're here for this. And I don't know, I don't personally get upset with someone doing a small addition. It's not hitting any of the setbacks. Do you have any concerns, Mike?
You check permit hidden variance.
Yeah.
You need to do that.
Maybe not. I was trying to apply for a permit and it's still not.
Oh, okay.
and then they told me I had to get a variance.
Right.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was just advertised for the special permit, but let me check. I mean, if a variance got posted, you just withdraw the variance because it would be unnecessary.
I think at the time it was sure, but I.
We have more leeway with special permits than variances. So the special permit to me would be the better way to go.
It only got posted as special permit.
Special permit. Any other questions or concerns? Bob Humes, do you have any questions or concerns? Bob Butler?
No.
No. Henry?
No, I have no problem with it, but,
Okay.
you know,
It's
the house has always been small and it was kind of awkward, so the improvements he's doing are definitely gonna make it more, you know, habitat, but word.
I know that addition you have off the back of your house, that little one on the side, it's pretty nice too. Okay,
Anyone on, I know there are some people on the teams who wanted to speak,
okay,
or I don't know if they wanted to speak, but.
let's open it up to them. I see Dan,
Dan, did you
and
want to-
Kathy, do either of you want to speak to this matter?
No concerns. I just received a letter, so just wanted to see what was going on, but I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Okay, yeah, we always try to listen to get the neighbors' input, because it can make a difference. Kathy, any questions or concerns?
Where's the plan for it? I mean, what are they doing? What is it? Is it
It's an addition to the back of the house, expanding the kitchen and the bedroom area.
Kathy, I just brought up Mass Mapper, so you can see 8 Plain Street C, correct, is this one right here. He's proposing about a 10-foot addition off the back of that building, that's gonna then cut straight across the back of the home, and then again, so it's 10 feet off both sides, extending towards the back.
Oh, so just a small addition to the house. Okay. Very good.
Excellent, thank you, Kathy. Thank you for your question, though, it's important.
Thank you.
All right, Mike, you want to make a question? No, I know you don't.
So move to grant a special permit
Um,
to accommodate Plain Street.
Excellent.
Well, second motion. Oh, who's I?
Bill, is your line? There you go. Then you were going about the 20-day waiting period there.
Nope, 20 days.
From when it's registered with the clerk.
And you said something to the other.
About, usually, it takes me about 2 weeks to actually get the decision document typed up and reported to the town clerk's office. Once it's reported with the clerk's office, that starts the 20-day appeal period. So it's about 2 weeks from today plus 20 days.
But you can start at your own risk before that. At your own risk.
John, do you have your?
Yeah, you said meeting takes place.
Oh.
That's it. You can bring it back.
I'm here tomorrow morning, so I'm on it.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Thank
Anyways,
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, super appreciated. Thank you. I think we have some minutes to approve. Before we go, and I don't know if there's any other business we have to deal with. Like.
Minutes.
What's that?
It should be at the back of your
Yes.
folder. Okay.
It's great for, so especially.
Yeah, please, minutes.
Do you do you have them?
I'm good.
Okay.
I love that Crockett Road one. In fact, I have done the thing, have neighbors support. That is so unusual for that road. Cheers, cheers.
Probably the most popular road since I started.
See, there's all these bald areas.
Like, who lives on Crockett Road?
But the worst part is this, nobody. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a tiny little road.
Yeah.
And you can't even get there from Upton.
I heard,
You have
I
to go
heard,
to Milford.
Ron couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Where are my minutes?
They should be the last thing.
I
Had
said everything around.
everything in mind for you.
You did a fantastic job. Got that?
Do you have that? Here, you can take mine.
This one's right here.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay.
It's hiding behind my computer. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, this was the non-existent meeting.
Yes.
All right. Everyone's given a motion. You get to do it again.
Motion to approve, minutes from the September 18th meeting.
Second.
And okay, all in favor?
Right.
Volume's on.
I shall do that. There we go. Any other business before us, sir?
Nope, that's it.
That's all minutes. No, all on, so next.
Oh, the
Okay,
one
so
from the
second set.
previous month, I wasn't here,
So there was, should have been
August,
August in there as well.
so I did not print August,
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Next time.
So they're in draft form.
So I'll add it.
We'll put that on to the next agenda.
Okay,
Big deal. Just to update the board.
Yep.
Town meeting, November 12th. MBTA Communities is gonna be on for that. Planning board voted to recommend basically the front of Governor's Landing site, which is the 300 feet in from the road, just south of 33 Milford, which we're discussing tonight. A stretch of land along 140 that is approximately 14 acres, comes 300 feet back off the road. That district, that is the proposed overlay district for the MBA communities. Multifamily by right, 15 dwelling units per acre. That's what's gonna be on the docket for town meeting. Just FYI.
Is it to me a little subterfuge that they're going to basically zone something that's already been approved for something else that's less dense?
Yes,
It's an overlay district.
yes.
Is that for, housing affordability plan? Is that?
It is not, it's the state's attempt to bolster housing production, but it is not intended to be a tool for affordable housing. The state is allowing affordable housing to be a component of it. But the towns, if you're gonna require an affordable component within these districts, you have to prove to the state that you have the economic conditions to support it. So we've gone ahead and prepared an economic feasibility analysis, and that'll be provided to the state because that will be a condition of the zone.
But it just seems like if you could put it somewhere else, you're already gonna get Governor's Landing.
Yes.
So what's the sense of rezoning something that's already getting stuff?
Governor, planning board definitely felt this is the best place for it. It's an approved site. So we know that it's gone through the rigorous review processes through this board and the planning board. It'll hopefully will have sewer and water extended to the site. So it'll be supported by that. It's on 140, a major route. So we're not locating it off of Mechanic Street. We're not locating it off of East Street or another side road. I mean, East Street was suggested by some community members as an alternative. The concern with proceeding with a different district is that, well, even if the intent were to zone it in an area that you think that you'd be preventing anything from ever being built, you know what I mean? Just put it in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it won't get built and we'll never have to deal with it. Well, if you do that, then you have to deal with the political ramifications of proposing that near people who don't want that and a justified
violently against it.
Yeah, and justifiably would argue that it doesn't belong, right? And then you run the risk of somebody figuring out how to build it.
Well, the sewer and water is huge, and that makes it. I think will attract a lot. I hope we work that whole idea of running sewer and water is to attract stuff.
Yes.
I just was laughing because I think the letter for the editor I already saw in the newspaper was, oh, they're gonna build 150 homes. It's like, no, we're gonna zone for 150 homes. not
Yes.
Build 150
Yes.
homes. It's something is already, I want to say, a headwind against this proposal. It's coming at town meeting from that letter, which is inaccurate. The letter is inaccurate. We've all been through how many NIMBY.
We'll be prepared to discuss it at town meeting for sure.
Yeah, there'll be an active town meeting. I don't know. I think the proof of pudding is the Milton case. I would love for Milton to be decided.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be
Prior to town
decided
meeting.
that, but it's not. They just like started
I know.
hearings, yeah.
So, if you don't know Milton.
Yeah.
Milton basically gave the state board the finger and said, you were not doing it. And
You wanna-
they got taken.
You wanna adjourn?
They got, oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second motion to adjourn.
Aye.
All meetings aye?
Bob, all right.
Bill, your side.